Alright, welcome back to Rust Country Garage. So, it is time for another video. If I start breathing heavy at any time in this video, sorry. I have been sick and injured, so that's why I haven't been posting anything on the channel here. Unfortunately, the weather is not that great. I don't think it's coming through on the camera all that well right now, but it's trying to snow. And yeah, it's kind of cold. So it's the third week in March, and that means that we'll get all 4 seasons in one day. If we're lucky, it might spread itself across like 2 or 3 days. So we had shorts and t-shirt weather a little bit ago, and now I am bundled up in this sweatshirt with the hood up because it's cold. It's like 30. Which in terms of winter, that's not cold, but it's pretty much spring, so it's cold. Anyways, today I have a new project, and I'm excited. Let's show you. Now, the car's not new, but see that side? Auto lamp. I have got the new headlights for this beautiful automobile here. So one of the projects that I've been wanting to do is upgrading these headlights. 2013, so this thing is 11 years old, over 100,000 miles, and these headlights are just all fogged up. Now it's a little bit dirty as well. Just with the warm days, we've had some pollen coming through, some dust getting kicked up, but they're pretty fogged up. I've done headlight restoration on these things before, and at this point I just want to put something a little bit nicer in. Part of this project was going to be also fixing the crack in the bumper there, but we're gonna have to do that another time. That I'm gonna see if I can just repair it. I think a little bit of fiberglass on the back to get it all sturdy again, and then go through, put some filler in to fill in the crack, paint it, be good. And I was going to do that as part of this project because I have to pretty much take the bumper off in order to get these headlights in, but it's cold. Fiberglass work doesn't like happening in cold, so it'll wait till I do the rest of the body work, because that has gotten worse and it just looks ugly. So gotta fix that anyways. We'll just count all of that as body work. So instead, we're gonna go ahead and just work with these bad boys. So excuse the garage, it's a mess right now. I mean, not that it's never not a mess, but it's a little bit worse right now because we had a windstorm come through, and you might notice there used to be a carport right there, and there is no longer a carport. You might be able to see remnants of it over in the weeds. Maybe the camera picks that up. And then all the tarps and everything for that are just piled up there. We had a really strong windstorm come through, and that went for a ride. So let's get this box opened up here. So as always, there's no sponsorship or anything. These things I bought for myself because I wanted them, and I think they look nice. So these, I don't know if I'll be able to get it out in one go. I might need to use a couple hands to get all of this out. We'll see if I can at least get it so that we can see this design a little bit better. So yeah, we have a nice aftermarket design here. I think these are from a company called like a Marilite or something like that. So integrated LED turn signal that goes along the entire bottom. We have the LED lights that go around, so I can run those. I think those will run essentially as your daytime running lights, but not exactly sure. We'll see. And then otherwise it's the same design as what's on the car, with the high and low beam, high beam being projector. So everything is the same, and it should just slot right in and be nice to kind of run. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to pull these out, pull the car into the garage here, and just make sure everything lines up before I go too far. Of course, anything aftermarket, you just got to be sure it might look right. Make sure it's right before you start tearing stuff apart. I've learned that the hard way. I'm sure I don't have to remind many of you, but I will put that reminder out there. Don't put stuff or tear stuff apart until you know the new stuff's going to fit. Ask me what the last project I worked on is, and you'll know. It sucks waiting for new power steering lines and spending all the extra money on something you can't return. Okay, so the car's pulled in here, and we can see new headlight, old headlight, and it looks like they are indeed the same shape. We have the little indent that runs right here, same indent right there. Everything else lines up, and they all look to be the same size. I held them a little bit closer, and looks good to go. Brackets are there. We do have to put a bracket up here. It's not attached in the box, and you can see that bracket that goes back under this little trim piece there. So that looks good, and I'm happy. That means I can go ahead and dig into this. So we will get the new one moved out of the way, which has this fun little extra box on there. I think that's going to control the LED strips there. We will find instructions for this before we actually start plugging stuff in, and just make sure that I understand all that good stuff. So disassembly of these, like I was saying, unfortunately you do have to pretty much take this bumper off. So mostly everything is held in with these push clip things here. So pretty easy to get off. So we have that one, and then we have a bunch that go under the fender right here. There's one right where my fingers are. So a lot of just pulling those out. If there's any that are weird, I'll make sure to show them. But otherwise, everything is just retained in with like little body clips that go all in. And you'll see that a little bit more once I get this apart. Bumper cover off. So yeah, there's nothing really surprising with what you got to take. So you can see all up along the top here, all of those push pins. There's the fender well one, and then you got a bunch of them that go along the bottom. Technically there's two more that I did not take out, but that's because whatever I hit that broke this bumper, I'm pretty sure it was a chunk of ice. That also broke a couple of the push pin brackets down there. So it is what it is. It's probably why this bumper doesn't line up perfectly, and I'll address that when I fully take the bumper off. Now for me, I have the aftermarket headlight or fog lamps in there, and I don't think the camera is going to be able to get in there with darkness, but luckily those are out of the way, and I just dropped the bumper straight down to the ground here, so that it's out of my way, but I can still get to everything that I need to get to, which is we have this part of my bracket for the headlight, those up there. So I got a push pin and a bolt here that I'm going to want to throw some lubricant on, I think, and then same thing on the other side. So let's get to working. So I took the liberty of spritzing some WD in there because I'm out of other rust penetrant. This one over here, I started to wrench on, and it was very reluctant to move. So I'm a little bit worried. I'm just going to go slow. I figured I'd at least film it so that if it snaps, it happens on camera. Oh. Oh, thank goodness. It came off. Haha, it didn't snap. Yay. Oh. Yeah. She's a little bit crusty. Alright, then we have, sorry for the light glare, it's a bit dark in the garage right here, or at least for this camera. So I'm doing all of these with hand tools because of how crusted some of these are, and especially I need to get a light. There's two right in here. There we go. Get the camera up. Right here and right here, and those two get a lot of crap right through the grill. So those ones are going to be fun. But you see what I'm doing, what I'm taking off. The only other ones is there's two bolts on the outside. So to recap, we have one here, one up here, one right here, two right here. You have that on each side, and then that will pop your headlight out. I just misspoke. There's two fasteners down here, so you can see the empty holes. There's two fasteners on the side here of the headlight assembly, because all of this trim piece is also got to come off with the headlight because it holds it in over here. So just to show you on the other side, I've already taken one out, but there is a second. So I misspoke. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 fasteners for each headlight, which is the most I've ever had holding a headlight in. That truck, those headlights are held in by like 4 fasteners, and that's it. And it's plenty sturdy, so feels a little bit over-engineered, but whatever. Alright, gonna get the rest of these out. Be back. Alright, headlight 1 out, and I was once again wrong. So there are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fasteners for each headlight. The last one is that little guy right there, which if you look a little closer, you'll see it left itself in there. So there's now 6 fasteners on this side, which will match that side because I was missing one of the fasteners over there too. So yeah, there's 6 per side on my car. If you don't live where everything turns to dust, all metal objects turn to dust, you'll have 7. But yeah, I have one less. It's still there. I'll probably drill it out and replace it at some point, but not today. The other thing I am going to say is that this connector, this big one, the clip in it, you really, really have to push to get that clip to separate. That one, it was like crusted, a little bit shut, so just maybe take some compressed air or some light taps to it, try to break up that crust if you live in an area like me, and then it'll come right out. So really all it is just this connector is really the only thing for the entire headlight. The bulbs themselves have another secondary connector that's in part of this wiring harness, but the main entire assembly itself is just the one. So that's good. But that means I'm going to go ahead, get this thing mocked up there, make sure everything looks good, make sure I know what that extra little box is doing, and then I'll get back with you. So sit tight. I know I'm turning the camera off a lot for this, but I am trying to work kind of fast. I do have to drive into the office tomorrow, which means this thing has to be fully reassembled, back together, working, tested, good, before I go to bed tonight. So. Alright, so somehow this battery's going dead already in this camera. This thing's already lost me some footage, so I don't know how much more I'll get filmed, but essentially I ran into my kind of only problem so far, and kind of a minor inconvenience. The minor inconvenience is this bulb right here. This one is the same as what was in the other. I believe that's the low beam, I believe. I don't remember which one while I'm looking at it here. But the big one here, yeah, low beam. This is the same as the stock. The high beam, however, is a different bulb, so my aftermarket LED does not fit in there. So I've got to figure out if I can either switch that out or figure out what type of bulb that is and get an LED variant of that. Because I really do like the LED bulbs in it. Just longer lasting, I don't have to worry about it. So I will have to figure out about that, and I'll report back to the class. But otherwise, this box here that I was like, I'm not sure what that is, that's for LED turn signal. This is just essentially decodes that, because LEDs are, lightweight. They don't take the same amount of power, so without that, you're going to get a really fast blinker, or depending on your car, it's going to throw a code, on the dashboard that says your turn signal's out. But because it's LED turn signal, it just needs that so that the car doesn't think the turn signal's out. It's got the right feedback for power, and that's all good. So really it's going to be getting this back together, making sure everything works, and then we're good. So I'm going to turn the camera off while I kind of get this headlight done and ready for assembly, and get everything kind of put back together in a preliminary state. We'll do the test, let you guys see that, and then that'll probably end the video. So before this battery dies, I'm going to go ahead, shut the camera off for a little bit, get this kind of wrapped back up, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so we're back with kind of the final update before I show you the exact finished product. But as you can see here, we have the headlight. It's not actually connected in yet, I just wired it in. And we have those LEDs going. Right now the low beams are on, so those are fairly bright because LED. It looks like I do have them adjusted correctly, which is nice. So if I turn high beams, I can see a difference. It doesn't really show all that much here, but let's turn lights all the way off. Sorry, I can't go around the near side. And that does shut that down. I'll have to try replacing the fuse to see if the LEDs will stay on as daytime running lights. I might not go with the LED conversion on the high beam again. I might just try to get a white light so that it matches the low beam, but We'll have to see how it performs tomorrow. I should be driving after dark. And yeah, I think it looks good. See if I can reach in and at least get the turn signal on. Yeah. Alright, so I like it. So yeah, I'm going to get everything put back together, and I'll be back with a final update with how it all looks. Alright, time to wrap up this video. So, it's been about a week since I put these in, and wanted to just share how things have gone and some stuff that I found out. So, first things first, take a look at this. I think these things look pretty darn good. They really kind of help make this car look a little more modern. You know, this is a 2013, so the looks are a little bit dated, especially in the headlight department, so these things look pretty good. They work pretty good once you adjust them. So the low beams, I made the mistake of not adjusting properly before I drove it for the first time at night, and that came back to bite me, or came back to bite me. English is hard. They were pretty much pointing at the ground, so I did have to adjust them. Luckily, the adjustment's pretty easy on these things. Probably see it down there. You can see the adjustment bolt down there. So if you can get a ratchet down there, it's a 12 millimeter. You can just turn it and see. It's best if you can do that, because then you can have the headlights on while you adjust it, so you can see which way to adjust it, go up and down. I believe it's counterclockwise to adjust them up. This side's a little bit easier to get into, because you just take the air cleaner, you know, input box off there, and then same adjustment, 12 millimeter once you get down in there. And yeah, once you adjust them, they're awesome, but you do have to adjust them, make sure you do it properly and all that good jazz. The other thing is, I mentioned during the installation that this side, the passenger side, had a bit of a fitment issue. I really had to work it to get it on, and I found out it's because this brace right here, this front metal piece, right here on the high beam housing, and probably should have taken this off before starting this, but too late now. But the high beam, like little housing portion of the headlight here, actually hits right here. You can kind of see on this metal cross member. So the factory ones, the high beam doesn't have like this enclosed housing. It's just out in the open. So I don't know if it was just like a design oversight with these things. These are supposed to be cross compatible with a couple of models, you know, from this year, or if it's just something weird with my car. Every now and then, like I mentioned earlier in the video, I question if this thing maybe was in an unreported accident or something. But regardless, that's why I had such a hard time. It's not a terrible fitment, but I found it when I went to switch out the high beams for LEDs a couple days ago, and we'll get to that particular bit here in a moment. But yeah, so that hits there. It made the cap kind of hard to get off, but other than that, it's really not that bad, you know, aside from getting the headlight assembly on itself. With the headlights out, you could probably take a hammer and kind of tap that up a little bit without really impacting anything. I definitely wouldn't recommend cutting, because this is a fairly thin, you know, piece of metal, and it is, you know, part of your core radiator support, as well as holding up a lot of the front end. So I would just be cautious. Maybe you don't have this issue if you do the headlights like I did, But if you do have that same kind of fitment issue, just pop it up a little bit and you should be okay. Other than that, the only other thing is the high beams themselves. These are, on this one, it's an H1 bulb instead of the default, I think, H7. And if you get LEDs for these, just make sure the LEDs either come with a connector like converter. So this is the LEDs require a positive and negative connection. These headlight, the bracket that, or the connector that comes with this, has a positive and negative, but it's all built into like where you actually push the bulb in. So that won't work with a lot of aftermarket LEDs. So you do just have to get a conversion, and you should be good. But otherwise, these things come out nice. They work really well. All the LED stuff works really well and looks good, and I'm pretty happy. So